Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you my top 10 favorite puzzles of all time. This is the third time that I've made this video. The first time I didn't have a lot of cubes. The second time I made a homepage and it was a little bit more fancy and I had a lot of separate videos, and some people didn't like that. So I'm going back to the one video format like this, and these are my top 10 favorite puzzles of all time. Now they're in no particular order, but we're going to count down from 10 anyways. However, the number one position is my top puzzle of all time. Let's start with number 10. In 10th place, we have the Wit Eden Wit 2 version 1. Now there's a version 2 of this that I don't really recommend. The version 1 is getting harder to find, but it is a very, very good cube. In my opinion, this puzzle is the best 2x2 ever to be put out, and at least for me, it does the best job. I've got all of my personal bests with this. I do all of my tutorials with this as well. It's really, really good. As you can see, there's some cuts. You can see the screw, but there's some cuts so they don't perfectly line up, which means that you can reverse corner cut very well. This cube has a lot of tolerance. You can corner cut the regular way quite far as well, as you can see, and it just, I don't know, it just moves so smoothly. What I really like about this cube is the scratchy feel of it. Now if you listen to it, you can hear a bit of grinding or something like that, but if you have one of these, you'll know that it's actually super, super smooth, regardless of the grindy feel. I prefer having that kind of feel for some reason. If I could have all of my cubes have that feel, I definitely would. This is a really, really awesome puzzle, and I think that you should get one. So let's move on to number 9. All right, number 9 is the fully functional 3x5x7 cuboid designed by Gregoire Fenig out of France, and it is produced by Puzzle Maestro. Now this puzzle was very difficult to learn how to solve. I mean, I never had solved something like this before, and the shape shifting is really, really intense. So as you can see, it shape shifts in all directions, and once it's completely scrambled and all jumbled up and bandaged, it's quite intense. So it's a very, very interesting solve. I really enjoyed it. It was very difficult to figure out my first and second time, but after I got my own method, it became faster. However, it's still an inefficient method, and when Super Antonio Vivaldi came out with his tutorial, it really simplified things for me, and it made me realize, why didn't I see that before? So now, as I'm working on a cuboid, I learned what it's been turned into, because they turn into different kinds of cubes, and you just kind of have to look at it at a different perspective in order to solve it. I did happen to break this corner though, as you can see it comes out. Now, if you look really close, it's just this little tiny, tiny piece, and it's easily breakable. The puzzle is a bit fragile, and I should have kept that in mind. However, I've contacted Puzzle Maestro, and I'm getting another piece sent when I buy his new puzzle, which is going to be the 5x6x7. So let's take a look at number 8. In 8th place, we have Tripoom's Rexamorphix puzzle. This is a corner and face-turning tetrahedron, and it's very, very nice. It's very smooth. Tripoom got me this for my birthday. Actually, he made it for me. He didn't buy it for me or anything like that. So he is a puzzle designer, as I'm sure all of you know. And when I bought the Hexaphobic, he sent this for my birthday about 1 year ago, actually, and I was quite surprised by that because I always wanted to have one as well. So as you can see, this turns on the faces as well as the corners, and this can lead to some really, really nice scrambling. Let's see if I can get this back now. How did I do this? There we go. It's a really nice puzzle. The Rex Cube itself is a good puzzle, but this adds a bit more challenge. I gotta admit, it was a bit of a challenge to learn how to solve it the first couple of times, but after I learned how to solve it using my own method, actually, it became really easier, and it kind of made me realize how to solve some other puzzles as well that I had that I didn't know exactly the best way to solve either. But it's really, really nice. It is prone to popping a little bit, especially in these little parts right here. As you can see, if it's a little bit misaligned like that and I go to turn a corner, you can see that it's going to pop this piece right out. I don't want to pop it out because it really goes flying across the room. But it's very easy to put back in. This is a really nice puzzle, handmade. And there's only a limited number of these in the entire world. Let's move on to number 7. In number 7, we have the Shengshao 9x9. Now, I got this as a gift from 51morefun.com to show on my channel. These are not the stock stickers either. These are Z stickers that you can find at 51morefun.com. It's a really, really nice puzzle. I have to say, it turns a lot better than I thought. I knew, because it was a Shengshao puzzle, that it was going to turn very, very nicely. And it corner cuts, and it's just super smooth. But I was very surprised at how smooth this puzzle actually is. It's one of the smoothest puzzles I have ever played with before. It's not the smoothest, but it is definitely one of them. And I just really, really like this big puzzle. Now, I've said in the past that I'm not huge into these bigger cubic puzzles. If anything, I like the shape mods of them. And the only reason is because it's basically like solving a 3x3 or a 5x5. It just takes a long time. But the turning is so good that it's actually a pleasure to solve. The one thing that can be a problem, though, is that if you have some layers misaligned like this and you can actually bring a piece with you and it can be dragged all the way through here and cause a pretty nasty lockup. But it's easily put back by just, let's see if I can do it. No, but anyways, it can go over there and it's easily put back just by turning the layer till it snaps back in place. But that's really the only problem with this. So let's take a look at number 6. In 6th place, we have a fully functional 3x3x5. And this one made the list, even though I don't play with it very often because I made this. Now, I didn't invent it, but I did make this using a tutorial from cbcubes. It's a very, very good puzzle. It's a really simple method to make this, so I suggest going and learning how to make one yourself if you haven't already and you're interested in getting this. Now, actually, you know what? I'll just leave a link in the description to the video on how to make this. It's very, very simple. Also, the guy's channel is really nice as well. Now, this is a fully functional one. Now, you can buy these on the internet where these are glued and it just looks fully functional, but it's not. And a lot of people have been duped that way. So if you ever see one of these that says it's a fully functional 3x3x5 on the internet, especially on a site called Light Take, you'll see that. Do not buy it. It's not fully functional. It's, I guess it would be misadvertising, or it's a scam. Actually, I wouldn't call it a scam. It looks like a 3x3x5, but they call it fully functional, which it is not. It's false advertising, that's for sure. Anyways, this is really, really fun. It shape shifts. And this was my very first mod that I ever made. So I was really, really proud of it. Let's move on to number 5. In 5th position, we have just a 4x4. Now, this is the Shengshao 4x4 version 4. I'm about to mod it into the Constaflorian mod, and I just wanted to show it before that so you could all see what it was like before it. Anyways, it is a really, really nice puzzle. This is the Shengshao 4x4 version 4, and it's incredibly smooth. The only problem with the 4x4 that a lot of people have, especially Yao solvers, is that these inner layers can lock up like this, and they catch. And you don't want that because a lot of the time you need these inner layers. And not just that too, but some of your algorithms require double moves. And as you can see, it locks up just like that. But it is a really, really good cube. I'm sure after the Constaflorian mod, it is going to be superior to anything I've ever tried. However, there are some more 4x4s coming out, such as the V-Cube 4 and also the new Dian MF8 4x4 62 millimeter, which I will be reviewing probably in the next couple of days or day or so. Might come out tomorrow, I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is the Shengshao 4x4. Let's look at number 4. In 4th place, we have Tom Z's fully functional 4x5x6. Now this is called a brick. This is like a true brick where 3 sides have different numbers, sort of like the 3x5x7 that we saw. This one has 4x5x6. And it only allows shape shifting in one direction. As you can see, if I was to turn it this way, you can see that there's 5 and 6 layers, and that does not allow shape shifting at all. Now this puzzle, I gotta say, like Tom Z's designs are so good. They turn so well, whereas I've felt some other Shapeways products, and the other Shapeways products I have too that aren't Tom Z's are still very good. There's just a difference in design, and I think it's just experience, where Tom Z has a lot of experience in it and is able to make these very small puzzles, because this is actually very, very small. Compare this to a 3x3, you can see the size, and it is, I don't know, it's just super smooth. It's designed by Shapeways, or not designed, but it's produced by Shapeways, and Shapeways puzzles are relatively expensive, but you know what? I think that they're worth it because I am a pretty good puzzle collector. This, I tore the sticker a little bit, but I do plan on getting tiles. If I have to cut them myself, I will. But for my Shapeways puzzles that cost multiple hundreds of dollars, I will be putting tiles on them. I think that would be a great idea. So let's take a look at number 3. In 3rd place, we have Tripoom's 7x7 tetrahedron puzzle. This is there's actually no name for this, to be honest. It's just a 7x7 Morphix. There's actually no set name, as Tripoom was not the first person to invent it, which means that he cannot name it. But there are some nicknames out there. I just forgot what they are, but this is just a 7x7 Morphix. Now this is made out of a Shengshao 7x7. And remember in my 9x9 when I said it's not the smoothest puzzle I've tried, this is the smoothest puzzle I've ever tried in my life. This is just so unbelievably smooth. And because it's made by hand, that's very, very impressive. This puzzle out of all my Morphixes is the smoothest, I think the best made one out of all of them. Don't get me wrong, they're all extremely well made. This one just moves better than any of the other ones. Now, I know a lot of you guys would be thinking, why isn't your 8x8 Morphix, your octophobic, you're in the top 10? Well, the reason for that is because of how well this one moves. And also, when dealing with the centers on a super cube, there's a little bit of a difference between doing an odd layered one and an even layered one. And I prefer the odd layered one, which is why this made the top 10. Now, this is just an awesome, awesome puzzle. I've solved this too many times to count, and I'm just more and more impressed of Tripoom's work. And I hope that when the 9x9 Morphix, the Nano Morphix comes out, or the Nanophobic, whatever he decides to call it, comes out, that I am able to buy it right away. I'm not sure if I can, but we'll see. Anyways, let's take a look at number 2. In second place, we have the Master Ghost Cube. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, you have a Professor Ghost Cube, a 5x5. Why would you choose the Master Ghost Cube? And there's a couple of reasons why I chose the Master Ghost Cube instead of the Professor Ghost Cube. And one is because these puzzles are so difficult to solve that the higher layers there are, the more difficult they are to solve, of course, but it's just, they take so long that you take a lot of breaks. Whereas this one, it's only 4 layers and I can pretty much solve it in one go. Like, I never really have to sit down and take a break. I mean, I've learned to solve this one pretty quick now, is because I've memorized where every single piece goes. But it's really, really awesome. If for my new subscribers out there, if you haven't seen a ghost cube before, check this out. What happens is you have to move it like this, and then now you can turn it. As you can see, it shape shifts quite a bit. And the difficulty in this is that every single piece of the puzzle has a place. I mean, you can't exchange centers for other centers like you can on a 4x4. And it's got super cube mentality. There's everything I love about puzzles is in this one puzzle. Let's just put it that way. This is like, okay, I know I said at the beginning, like, let's not make anything in particular order. I'm gonna have to nullify that now and say that this is definitely my second favorite puzzle I've ever gotten. It is just so fun to solve, and the difficulty level is so high that I just have to have respect for the person who built it. So let's take a look at number 1. All right, I'm sure you all guessed the number 1, which is a Diane Zanchi puzzle. Now, in my first 2 videos I made like this, it was a stickerless version because I really like the stickerless version. However, as I'm becoming more mature as a speed cuber and I care more about my times, I've kind of moved away from the stickerless version and moved on to this. This is an original plastic Zanchi. This was created when they first came out before they changed the plastic, and it moves a little different than all the new ones. It's made of a different type of plastic. Now, it's been debated whether that's true or not, but trust me, I have one, and I've had many Zanchis, and I know it's true because I've felt it. And anybody who denies that, I really hope that one day I meet you so you can be proven wrong. It's just so good. This puzzle especially, I've gotten all of my personal bests on this puzzle. My personal best currently is an 11.06, and that was a PLL skip. My second best would be, I think it's a 1247. No, it's a 1206 or something. I don't know. Anyways, my PB overall is an 1106. And I really, really enjoy this puzzle. I mean, there's nothing I like more than speed cubing. I really like the custom puzzles, but when it really comes down to it, I'm more challenged by this than any of my custom puzzles because of the fact that I'm challenging myself, not the puzzle. And I think that's the basis of speed cubing. And that's why I love speed cubing. And I will be using this at the upcoming competition that I have coming up next week. And yeah, anyways, that's my top 10 favorite puzzles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.